Yo. Well, anybody could. Let me know if you can see me okay. Can you hear me okay? And all that stuff. Because I'm no genius at this sort of thing. Just hanging out here in the garage in front of the old Cadillac. Got a guitar here just in case I get bored. You know. But, hey, we're here. I'm getting the wispies. Lily says I'm getting the wispies. It means I need a haircut. You know, all the loveliness here. So yeah, you guys let me know. Everything sounding all right? I see a mute button. I've done this on the phone before, but not on a laptop. And I've got my camera rigged up, so it's, I don't know. But I don't know. You kids have something to say. I'd like to hear it. We got the cold drinks going on. Thanks, Anvil Tech. Good to hear from you, buddy. I'll tell you what, I really did dig your pictures the other day. I like that kind of stuff, you know. But it is interesting how other parts of the world have car shows, and you know, a guy like me, like, what kind of car is that? You know, but it'd be nice to go actually and talk to those people. And always thought it was really interesting, dialects and hearing people talk. And Aaron, tell me if this is true, but I believe my family heritage on my dad's side is from England. And I really liked the English humor. You know, I used to always watch all the English comedy shows, especially the old ones. They'd show them on PBS here in the States. And you could tell dialects. And guess what I mean is, like, around here, people talk a certain way. And as you go south into Kentucky and Tennessee, they talk Southern, you know. But I think it's true that English people are that way too. Like, you know, like you go into Welsh, or I don't know. I should probably not even talk about it, but you know, I always think that's interesting, talking to people that you know, they're not from where you're from, and I always enjoyed that. I don't know that I'm actually going to play a song, but just in case, I do have. So you know, this is a Kalamazoo. It's anywhere from 1932 to 1936 ish. It's my nicer guitar. It's very old, but it's got a great sound. And you guys know how I like with the music and all that stuff. You do speak differently, okay? I kind of thought that, and used to be and I guess around here you have people that talk Southern or they talk ghetto. Okay. Which you could ways, but I could always tell a difference in England's dialects. I don't know, but I always thought that sort of thing was pretty interesting. But yeah, I really dig the car show pictures. What time is it there in England, Aaron? Because I don't know the time difference. It could be 8 o'clock in the morning there, and I just woke you up. But anyway, (0006) 10:06. Yeah, you hear all kind of strange stuff going along the state highway here that I live by. It's I live in the country, but there's all kinds of trucks and noise. Now it's going to rain, which is good. It needs to cool off. Oh, midnight. Oh, I see you. 06. 12:06. Man, ain't you got to work tomorrow, buddy? I sure do appreciate you watching, though, Aaron, for sure. You're a good viewer, and I do. I hope you understand, like everybody else, that to me, when I do something, I do a video, I do anything like that, and people comment or say something, or to me, it means a lot. It means a lot to me, and I'm super pleased with it. Oh, you're on holiday. Oh, good. That's 10-4 on that, buddy. I'm leaving tomorrow myself in that big Airstream going camping. Just me and the wife, it looks like so far, and some friends. Play a music festival and run around and probably do some of that, But the funnest part of it is that we'll stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning playing music, and it's always a good time. So, but yeah, I do all kind of stuff here on the YouTubes, and sometimes I wonder if some of the videos I should do, especially some of the sitting down talking videos, and it's I'm going to a place called Metamora, Indiana. If you, Aaron, if you Google Metamora Music Festival, you'll there's a website and you can see all the bands that are playing and see all the pictures, and it's a pretty small festival, but this little town, and I'll tell you, this is pretty interesting. This little town was established in the 1700s, and it had it still does have a canal so that they could ship things back and forth. Well, right along that canal, they had train tracks that they added later after the fact. Well, this canal, you used to have a boat. There's a story about the boat got trashed. They didn't know what they were doing trying to work on it. But if you take that canal and float on a boat, you'll go across a bridge in the canal that goes over the river. So you look down and all this water out of the canal is flowing off the sides, and you're in a boat 50 foot above the river that's below you. And that's like one of the only aqueducts in the United States that's still active. But we don't have a boat to put on it anymore. So it's one of those things. But it's a pretty neat place. small little historic town kind of deal. And there's a big barn. They have a great big barn there off the edge of town, and it's got a big stage, and that's where we all play music and have a good time, all that stuff, you know. But it's we do it every year. I've done it 15 or 16 years straight. So it's kind of a yearly thing. Every Labor Day weekend, and the Puck and Harlow Boys are playing at 7 o'clock. I'll try to do a little video. I'm not sure. I don't know. You know, it's kind of one of those things on a car channel. How much of the non-car stuff do you do? I do enough of it as it is. But like I was saying, I think I talk about some stuff that makes people uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable to talk about it, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's good to talk about things that make you uncomfortable, because that means you probably ought to think about it a little bit, you know. I don't know. It's a good old guitar. I ain't had it out for a long time. But yeah, that's something I did for a long time, was play music. Hey, Guitar Hotline, what's up, buddy? No, Anvil Tech, that's not the same place. The car show that I'm going to go to is and that's another one you could Google and see some really cool pictures of some really cool cars, is the James Dean days. James Dean was a movie star. You're younger than me, but you surely know who James Dean was back in the 50s. And right at the height of his movie star stardom, he was in a Porsche, a brand new hot rodded Porsche that he bought. He was driving it home and got in a wreck and got killed. He got unalive. Sorry. You know, YouTube doesn't like that sort of thing. So he was from a town that's just 15 miles north of me, where I live. And so every year they have this big James Dean festival. So they have car shows. There's a ducktail car show, and there's a swap meet. It's the whole thing. So I plan on doing a little bit of videoing with that. The father-in-law's birthday is always right around that time, so I take him and we go have a good time. There's a video, actually, if you look about a year ago, you'll see the James Dean video. If you scroll back, and you'll like it. You know, it's cool pictures, cool thing to do. I wish I went to car shows more. I wish I took maybe that thing to a car show. I don't know. Cruise ins here and there, but you know, car shows and judging what my hillbilly stuff I did, I'm just not interested, really, and just sit there all day. Hey, Ralph, how you doing, buddy? Hey, y'all, I'm gonna tell you what. If it weren't for Ralph, I wouldn't have this. Ralph would always. How many of these you have now, Ralph? Well, we don't want to say that stuff on here, but I'm sure you still have at least a few, right? KG11. Ralph will correct me right here. It's KG is Kalamazoo Gibson. So Gibson built these to sort of have a more of a cheaper guitar for the Sears and Roebuck and stuff like that, and compete with the lower market of guitars. But great sounding old guitar. Yeah, for what it is, it's really nice old guitar. But yeah, Ralph's going. You still going to the festival, ain't you, Ralph? I hope so, buddy. Remember last time you didn't. Sold during the Depression. Well, there you go. They Kalamazoo was around for a long time. Okay, good. Remember last time Ralph couldn't come to the music festival? It was interesting. I think all of us had to change our shorts afterwards. But the one who stole the show was Lily, my 7-year-old. I think then she was 4. I don't know. Come right up on stage like she belonged up there, and her and I did Charlie Mack. Yeah, did a song. It was pretty cool. Still got pictures, and she'll never do it again. Nope. But the guitar hotline, and I can't remember. Seemed like John Boyer and I had played a gig with folks over there, and it ended up being Stella Luna. That was been a long time ago. Oh, hey, good to see you, Mr. McGregor. How you doing, buddy? Yeah. And I kind of did this thing, figuring I'll have a big party and nobody will come. Well, we got viewers right now, 5. That's more than I thought. I could have just sat here and had a drink and play guitar and not even turn the camera on. But oh yeah, Tom and Morgan. Yep. They live right down the road from me, and it's a shame we don't visit. Went to a pumpkin patch a couple years ago. Heard somebody singing. I was like, that sounds familiar. And that was Tom and Morgan. And I can't remember the other kid that I don't know if he still plays them or not. They were playing. Oh, Gary Raycow was playing drums. It was nice to bump in and then talk to them and say, hey. So I played a song a few times, probably on the channel. You've heard it. And Ralph's going to go, oh, Lord, that song again. But there's a story behind that song. When I was first married, a lot younger, had a couple little boys, and the current ex-wife's brother, he fished bass tournaments and all that, and his name was Charlie McDaniel. Well, his dad, which was my father-in-law, everybody called him Mac, short for McDaniel. So he and I, man, we had such a good time playing, or the same as playing music, but I didn't play music back then much. We would go fish bass tournaments, and we'd go sometimes 2 nights a week, and we'd go and just have this good time and laugh. We'd make fun of people and give them funny faces just because we thought it was funny, because these guys were in their big bass boats, and they're just like, they're fishing the bass tournament of their life and will win millions of dollars. We were all fishing for like $20, so we just figured we'd have a good time. So for a couple, 3 or 4 years, that's all we did. And I had some of the best times with Charlie, running around and there's stories I won't tell. No, but we had a super great time. And a lot of times, he and I's all we had in our personal lives sometimes to hang out and talk and work through stuff like that, But that song is about the last time we went fishing, I had people ask me, well, does this Charlie Mack guy, did he die or something? No, he didn't. He's still alive and well, and I talk to him on occasion. But we haven't fished since his sister and I split up. Really rough time and all that, but it was a part of me writing that song, working through stuff, you know. Up too early, 3 a.m. Off to chase a dream. Loaded up a fishing pole. Charlie Mack and me jumped in, hit the road. Nearly 3:30. Lit one up just to get in the mood, yeah. Charlie Mack and me. Charlie Mack, Charlie Mack. Where can you be, buddy? Used to have so much fun, man. Just you and me. Charlie Mack, Charlie Mack. Where can you be, buddy? Used to have a big time, yeah. Just you and me. At the lake, we got in line just to pay our fee. Boat in the water just in time. Charlie Mack and me. Time to go, tension's high. Charlie hit that key, lordy. Jumped that boat right on plane. Charlie Mack and me. Charlie Mack, Charlie Mack. Where can you be, but used to have a big time, yeah. Just you and me. Charlie Mack, Charlie Mack. Where can you be, buddy? Used to have a big time, yeah. Just you and me. Slowed down from a chilly speed, and our spot was free. Just knew we would win that time, Charlie Mack and me. That's the last time we'd fished together, but we couldn't see it, no. I'll never be the same, Charlie Mack and me. Charlie Mack, Charlie Mack. Where can you be, but used to have so much fun, man. Just you and me. Charlie Mack, Charlie Mack. Where can you be, friend? Used to have a big time, yeah. Just you and me. There you go, Ralph did the 7th, just for you, buddy. Because it always sounds so good. Oh, all right. Let me get some catching up here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good stuff. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Bad day fishing is better than. You got that right, Mr. McGregor. Yep. Mm-hmm. A bad day of fishing is better than a great day of work. Inertia, how you doing, buddy? Man, thanks for popping in. I always like your comments. You know, you're one of those professional body guys that tells me I'm doing okay. Thanks, Anvil Tech. Appreciate it, Aaron. Jack, how you doing, buddy? Hey, man. Let's get some videos on that the Tri-5 stuff. I've watched them. We need some more, all right? Yeah, I'm in the room. Yes, sir. All right. See you, Guitar Hotline. Thanks for popping in, man. Yeah. And Ursha says I do a better job than most professionals he sees, but I'm kind of picky too, and I'm not doing it for a living. So that's a different thing. And I've learned to be less picky and get the job done, but still have some quality, have some quality going on with it. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased you guys popped in. This is pretty neat. And again, it's something. Look, I'm trying to keep my wispies down. I think we're going to have company. No, maybe not. But I tried different things, try to do stuff, and I enjoy the whole YouTube thing. I enjoy the reactions. Sometimes the reactions aren't what I expected, and sometimes I don't really agree with the reactions, but the reactions. And some of the videos that that you may not think a lot of, I'm going to tell you what. Here's what you do: just go look at the comments. Don't even watch the video and go, I'm not watching that. That's going to be dumb. But look at the comments. That's why I keep doing it. That's exactly why I keep doing it. To me, having sometimes a conversation, sometimes it's one-sided and it's just me. Then you guys have a chance to say what you want to say. And I think that's the coolest stuff ever. Sometimes I've had videos that had 100 views, but had 80 comments. So 80 people, those 100 watched, had something to say about what, to me, that's neat. It just is, But, hey, I sure appreciate you guys coming by. I'm thinking Lily's going to pop in. Her noise. She might have stopped by the bathroom. The bathroom's right by that door. So, and right behind you is the fridge. There's another can of liquid hops in there. I don't know. But anyway. So, what do you guys do for a living? Some of you already know. Like Inertia, I get an idea what you do for a living, and Guitar Hotline and all that. Yeah, thanks, Inertia. I appreciate that, buddy. Really do. It means a lot to me. I'm pretty nervous about some of that stuff, some of the more deeper stuff, and it gets a lot of good reactions. I tell people to huff dust and watch paint dry. Hey, you hiring? Inertia? I can do that. I can huff dust and watch paint dry. It's so I take it you're in a bit of a management position. Oh, maintainer on the railway. Aaron, that's pretty cool. If you look down in some of my old videos, and you'll have to go way 8, 9, 10 years, 12 years ago, there's videos of John Boyer, a good friend of mine, and I playing on a steam engine. And I always enjoyed it. It's a lot of work because your legs hurt because you're like this, stand the whole time. You try to lean against the seat and you're trying to play music and holler down 2 cars, and then they'll stop halfway so that the other cars can hear you play too. And then you got to walk your gear over to the other and jump in those cars and play some more. And you do that all day long. It was always a Mother's Day thing. That's got to be a really interesting job. I would think. And I think in England, it's pretty, there's a lot more railways. It's still more of a thing than it is here anymore. Do whatever the boss says needs doing. I was helping Metalworks. Wow. 67 Mustang. And a Ferrari. You're the man. You don't see some Ferraris in my shop. My little shop, barn shop. No Ferraris. Nope. Well, Union Carpenter. Yeah, buddy. I've had a lot of friends that were union carpenters here in Indiana. Chris Wolf, he's one of them. Appreciate that, Inertia. He says your cars are much nicer than this Ferrari. I don't know about that, but I'll take it. I'll take a compliment when I can get one. That's for sure. And it's and see this live sort of thing. I think it's kind of neat because I knew that there were going to be at least a few fans that watch everything, and we could talk a little bit. Yeah, Aaron, I'd like that. Send me some pictures of what you do. I'm all good with that. And just so you know, some of you guys might see commercials. It'll get caught up, and it's a YouTube thing, right? But yeah, Aaron, send me some of those pictures. I like that. And you guys all know, if you look at most of my videos, have my email address down in the description. It's also in the description of the channel. So shooting me an email, there's nothing wrong with that. I say hi. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. Not that I can answer your questions. I might, if it's a question about a video or something I did, and you don't want to put it in the comment section. Totally cool. Send me an email. junkboxmike@yahoo.com. Email me. It's cool. It's cool with me. I enjoy that kind of stuff. Aaron does, and I'm always looking forward to seeing what he wrote me, for sure. It's always a lot of fun. I was hoping it was going to rain, but I don't think it's going to rain. No, it's hot. Just hot. All right, Inertia. Thanks for popping in, buddy. We'll see you soon. Yep. I'll be here for about another 30 minutes or till I just can't help myself anymore and got to go, or I got to use the bathroom. I don't know. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Yeah, so favorite car and favorite motor. There's a bit of story behind that. It's hard to say my favorite car because I want one of all of them. The wife knows that, and that's why she, keeps the leash pretty tight. When I was a kid, I always, for Christmas every year, I got Super Chevy magazine subscription. So the magazine would come once a month. That was before the internet. You had to read it all in a magazine. Love Super Chevy. I read that thing back to forth and back. And if it was 2 weeks later, I'd start at the beginning and read the whole thing again. That's how I learned to work on cars, was reading that magazine. Believe me, from 9, 10 years old. I camshaft, what is that? What's a camshaft do? And push rods, and I'd read, and Dad had an old 1960s motors manual. And so I'd reference that and try to figure out what all this stuff was, what 4-cycle meant, and, carburation and timing. And that's how I figured all that out. But in one of these magazines, and I believe I still have the magazine, was in fact my favorite car with my favorite engine. Can't afford neither one. But it was a 1959 sedan delivery. So it was just like a station wagon, but it was 2-door, no windows in the back, fire engine red, and a little bit of chrome bumpers, and it was a beautiful car. And it had Corvette rallies with the smooth disc center caps. I think they're called I can't remember if they were the disc brake ones or not, but they were the smoothies with trim rings. And the motor was a 409. Yep, 409. You got another Corona. Hey, Infotech, I'm sticking around a little bit, buddy. I don't want to keep you up too late. I know how it is to work, and then you go on a vacation. We call them vacations, holidays, same thing. It takes a while to get into that vacation mode. It does me. Hell, I take a vacation. It takes me 4 days to figure out I'm on vacation and to actually relax. And then it's about time to go back to work. Yep. Yeah. I need to see if I still have that magazine. Maybe I can find it online or something. It's so that was always a fixation, was the sedan deliveries and the panel trucks and all that stuff. My very first vehicle that I bought with my own money when I was, I believe, like 14 years old, was I'd saved up my money. I'm buying something. And it was a 1964 Chevrolet panel truck, just the half ton, the short wheelbase, primer black. Man, it was cool. It was cool. I paid $300 for it. First car I ever had. And then, let's see, then I wrecked it in the wintertime. I used to take that thing when I was 14, 15 years old, get home from school. I'd sit down in that thing and drive around the backyard. We had 3 acres, but I'd drive it around the backyard. That's how I learned to drive a stick. And I'd park it right back where it was, thinking mom and dad didn't know any better. Right. Mom looked outside, see tire tracks going around the grass. They knew what I was doing. They didn't know I'd take it down the street a little bit and come back. Sorry, Mom. But I didn't get caught, so that's what matters. But anyway, I wrecked it that first winter, had big bald tires on it, and had turbines, the aluminum turbine wheels, bald tires on the back. First snow, coming home from school. Yeah. Took a couple trees out. It was a mess. Then I had a 1976 El Camino. Gave $1,000 for that, and my dad had got a loan from his credit union to buy me that car. And before we got to drive it, he wrecked it. He wrecked it before I even drove it the first time. But we got a dog house for it, and put the whole front end of it got smashed, and we fixed it up. So it was a blue El Camino with dual exhaust, glass packs with a red front end. But that was a fun car. Did a lot of burnouts. Oh yeah. Speed Racer, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Another good commenter. How you doing? Yep. Got the beers and the flag and yeah. Mm-hmm. That was always a thing when I was a kid. That devil's horns. I don't know. I don't know what that means anymore, but. See, the El Camino, I blew up the engine because burnouts. I think blew up the transmission because of burnouts. Dad had a 72 Chevy Suburban and it rusted out. He'd quit driving it. It had a 307 in it. So I took that engine out and put it in my El Camino on a Saturday when I think I was 16 years old. So we were huffing cars pretty good when we were kids working on stuff. And that thing ended up getting wrecked. And then I blew up that engine. Then started driving my younger brother's car. It was a 73 Buick Apollo. You don't talk about a burnout machine. You don't wonder I could keep tires on anything. Well, bald tires on that because of burnouts. A couple of days before I graduated high school, and T-boned a tree, wrapped it around a tree out in the rain, All right, and saying, I got this thing in the way and I can't see some of the comments, so I don't know. That stick shift is not so common in America. I think that's what you're asking, Aaron. No, not common. The best way for you to have an old classic car and not get it stolen nowadays is have a stick shift, manual shift transmission. They can't drive it. You know how many adults I work with can't drive a stick? We hire porters. Porters go and get the cars and move them around and go get a customer and all that. They're like, pull that out in the parking lot. And they look real funny at you. They're like, no. I think if you're going to be the guy who drives cars, that's one skill you should know is how to drive a stick. Oh, dig. Yeah. The old G body Monte Carlo. Yep. Chris has popped in. Right on. But yeah, stick shifts around here, they're not as common. No. And I'm guessing that in England they are. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I see. Yeah. Anvil Tech, I want to tell you something. The weirdest thing I've ever driven was a Jeep that was right hand drive. It was a male Jeep because around here we always drive on the right hand side of the road, and I think you guys drive the other side. The weirdest thing I ever drove was a manually stick shift left hand or right hand drive. So instead of driving and shifting with this one, I'm shifting with the other one over here. Weird, completely weird. Yeah, everybody used to learn that's, and you know what I learned on driving a stick shift was three on the tree. That's what we had. I had an old Chevy van, 65 Chevy van that I had bought after I'd wrecked that Apollo. I bought this. I spent, again, it was like a $300 vehicle. It had, and it was almost the same. The engine was right here. I could drive down the road and adjust the timing, adjust the carburetor, and put that thing back down. Man, that was it. Green shag carpeting on the inside of it. And it was painted primer black. Had aluminum slots on it. Man, that was probably one of my favorite vehicles I've ever owned. Yeah, left side shift. If you're from around here, you're used to using your right hand. You're gonna go using your left hand. It's just, especially if you're left-handed. So I can just imagine what it's like for a left-handed person to drive a stick shift. I don't know. But yeah, on a 57, got news. Little sneak peek since you guys are here. Come up with a rear end. Friend of mine, Steve. He owns a wrecking yard. Super good guy. I've always enjoyed talking to him, and he's always got good advice and all that. But he's come up with a differential for the 57. I believe it was a 73 Nova posi traction. It's a 10 bolt, but I'm not going to hurt a 10 bolt. I've beat the crap out of some 10 bolts, and it'll be fine, you know. And today, new leaf springs showed up and spring shackles. So not this weekend, the weekend after, we'll be putting that chassis all back together and having it looking really cool, you know. That's cool, Speed Racer. Put an M20 Muncie in your Metropolitan. Yeah. And I might use something similar to that. I'm really wanting overdrive because I want a low gear ratio, but I like to be able to drive it to town or take it on a trip. But we'll see what happens. I'd love to have a Tremec 6-speed or a TKX 5-speed. Man, stuff's expensive. Oh yeah, Brian. That's an MGB, a little car like that with a stick shift. Yeah, you can almost just let the clutch out and let it go. So it'd be pretty forgiving, probably. Oh yeah, they'll Nova 396. Man, I don't know if I've had I had my Buick Apollo was a 73. It was the same thing as a Nova. It just wasn't quite as cool looking, but it had a 350 Buick in it, and it fit pretty good. Now, I remember having to work on it and all that, but I couldn't imagine it having a big block in it, as far as having to work on it and all that. But yeah, I mean, this little car I had, man, it had some torque. It fast as it would go was 85, and it was tacked out. That was it. So the rear end was geared down a little bit. But man, that thing would roast them. I'd get anybody off the line in that old Buick Apollo. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we've got all new front suspension. We'll reuse the springs on the front. Got new shocks, 2-inch drop spindles, disc brakes. The controller arms are all brand new and tubular. Pretty neat deal. Something you guys will want to do to yours if they sell them for your whatever car you're doing. Yeah, Aaron, it's getting a little tougher. Back in the day, you could buy a 350 or 400 turbo hydromatic transmission. You could go to the junkyard, buy one for $75 because we had to because we burn them up. $75, go to the junkyard, slap it in, back down the road. Small block Chevy engines and all that, cheap. They're all over the place. You couldn't walk across your yard without stumbling across one. And now they're hard to find. That stuff's hard to find. Now it's all LSs. It's all LS stuff and 700 R4s and that stuff's all cool. That's the new thing now is LS swapping everything, and I'm not that interested in it. But yeah, the old stuff is hard to get. It's hard to get a hold of. What shock brand? I'm kind of old school, and I don't even know if they sell them anymore. But I remember putting Monroe's on my El Camino, and I thought that was just the coolest riding car. After that, I could tell such a difference. But if they sell them now, I don't know. I have brand new Monroe's for the front of that 57, and I have brand new KYB shocks for the rear end. That's going to be a special deal with a special story. Oh, really? Just the 90s. So that I'm around here, Aaron, they went, basically 70s and 80s. The scrap steel went up. It's because China, Japan, they would take all this recycled steel and make new steel. So they were buying it wherever they could. So scrap steel went up. A friend of mine, my friend Steve, hopefully he checks this out. He said that back in the 70s and 80s, his dad owned a wrecking yard, and he'd take them old Tri-5, 57, 56 Chevys, these old cars, and put them in a row and light them on fire. Well, the reason was they were gonna crush them for scrap. They didn't want all the plastic, and they would just burn anything that would burn, and the rest, what was left, was metal. And that's what they used to do. Unfortunately, nowadays, that's hurt people who want to redo these old cars. But yeah, Mac, everything is jaded now. You don't know what you're buying. And I'll tell you, in the business that I work in, we do a lot of 4-wheel drive stuff. I don't want to say it's Jeep stuff. The shocks nowadays, you would think, I'd give you the names, you would think, well, that's high quality shocks. And they should be, because they're expensive. They're not quality anymore. They're just not. They're junk. Junk. Oh, Sensatrack, yeah. Yeah, I know. I remember that back in them days. I have some blue ones. I bought a bunch of parts from a friend of mine out in Pennsylvania for that 57, and it came with brand new shocks. The white box world. That's right. It is. You get on Amazon and order all kind of stuff, and you don't know where you're really getting it from. You just get it, and it's a white box, and you're like, ooh, there's no brand name. Sound like somebody's having a time. She's probably playing with one of her friends on the Minecraft, whatever that is, and they always fight. Why do you guys hang out with it and you always fight? I don't get it. I don't know. Wait and see if she's going to come out here or not. Say hi. She said she was. Maybe not. Well, here's to you guys. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys checking in, and like you do on the videos and commenting some of the comments I've gotten. And that is why I keep doing it. I do. I just enjoy that somebody thinks something of what my hillbilly self is doing in a barn out in the country. You got that right, McGregor. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the thing, Jack. You're right. Jack says it's a dying art rebuilding old cars. And you know why? Kids nowadays have no interest in like that MGA, that 57 Chevy. There are kids that do, no doubt. Kids to see this car and be like, what is that? And I've said it before. You can buy a 82 Chevette and I could sell that and double my money because they think it's a classic car. Just they don't have the interest. Yeah. Moogs, you're right about Moog. It used to be all the suspension parts you bought, they were Moog or Napa, you know. But nowadays, you just don't know. They just put their name on it and got it from Lord knows where and sell it to you. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Aaron. They don't. And the funny thing is, where I work, um, it's a parts replacing situation. Back in the late '80s when I started, that's when the couple of years of front wheel drive. Well, you'd have a grease boot on a CV joint leaking. You couldn't buy the whole axle. You had to take it apart and replace the boot. Well, when you took it apart, you had to inspect and make sure that the balls, you could take it out, turn it, take all the balls out, clean it all up, put it all back together. You got this big bag of grease and you put that in there, got your boot set up, and then put it back together. We used to rebuild steering gear boxes. Yeah, rebuilt steering gear boxes, alternators and brake calipers. We used to fix all that. And nowadays, no, that's not a thing. We're just going to put a part on it. Take an engine part and fix it. Nope, replace the engine. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, just replace it. Problem with doing that all the time is you don't know what the failure point is. And if you don't know what the failure point is on, say, an engine or transmission or just a master cylinder, if you don't know that failure point, you're never learning anything. You're just learning that I just need another one, but you don't know why. That's the problem nowadays. That's what we're having nowadays. Yep. All China. Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's just it. It's a throwaway society. You don't grease a car anymore. They always called it lube, oil, and filter. So you got the oil, you know what that is. They got the filter, you know what that is. Nobody knows what a lube is. What's a lube? Well, you check all your other fluids. You get that grease gun out and you go all over the Zerk fittings, wherever that car would be, a drive shaft, tie rod ends, ball joints, and you lubed them. That was called a lube because back in the day, you got paid 2/10 to change oil and a filter and then 2 more tenths to do a lube job. Some people didn't want a lube job. Okay, that was a thing. Nowadays, they just throw lube in there for free. There's no such thing as lube. You don't, if you want to check transmission fluid, there's not a stick. There's not a stick. You got to go through a bunch of crap to check transmission fluid. Differential fluid, there's a place you can check it, but you got to take half the car apart to get to it. Throwaway society. We're not meant to, they don't want us to. They don't want us to service and fix anything. It's made to be sealed. That's a sealed unit. You can't work on that. No, that means that they want you to just go buy a new one. It's all about money. Yeah. Yeah. The harder rebuild, Brian, is the MGA. The MGA is easier because everything's smaller, which that kind of helps. But where I lack is the information on MGA. I don't know. I wouldn't, if I saw that thing driving down the road 2 years ago, I couldn't have told you what it was. That's some kind of English sports car. Ain't that neat? I wouldn't have known what it was, but I had to learn. The Chevy's easier just because it's familiar stuff that I've always worked on. Yeah, started on John Deere. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, Aaron. You know, everybody's so big on the environment. We could get into a whole thing here if you wanted to. And, you know, like electric cars, all electric cars. That's a crap. That's a bunch of crap to me, because you destroy the environment to make those batteries, and then once those batteries are done, well, you're going to recycle them, and you know, but no. What about the rest of the car? We're going to recycle it. And the other thing is the way these throwaway cars are, and recycling is bigger than it always has been, but that's why, you know, that's, you know, it's not sustainable. I work in the industry where I see it all the time. You want to put a transmission in a truck that's 3 years old and it's not too far out of warranty, and it's going to cost you $10,000. Most people wouldn't do that. They're like, I'm going to buy a new one for that. I'll go buy another one. I'm going to go buy an $80,000 truck and spend $10,000 on that old one. But that's what they want. That's what they want. They don't want you fixing nothing. And if you say, okay, $10,000, I'm going to fix that. Well, parts on back order, maybe next month. All the time. All the time. This is from the factory stuff, you know. And if you take it down the road, Joe Blow is going to put a used one in it. Well, he can't program it, because you got to program everything. Everything's a module. We got to reset it. We got to reprogram everything. Well, guess where you got to go? Back to the dealership. Dealership says, oh, sorry, sir. Can't program that. That's the wrong transmission. We can sell you a brand new one, though. I agree, Aaron. Anvil Tech's right. You're taking stuff out of the ground no matter what you're doing. No matter what you're doing. You got to get it from somewhere. I assume they just make nuclear cars. Make them last forever. I'm sure somebody's had that idea, but that won't make you no money in the long run. But no, that's a bad idea. And it really is. But I'm just trying to make a point. Kind of a side hip shooting kind of point. Yeah. You know, the carbon footprint. We could get into all the political and the geopolitical, you know, that it's a whole bunch of crap. It's a whole bunch of crap. I'm all good with making the world a better place. You guys know that. Totally am. If it was a viable thing that I'm not allowed to drive this car anymore with a gasoline engine, I'd come up with something that I could drive it. I'm not against that, but it seems kind of stupid. It's just dumb. It's dumb. It's totally dumb. Give it a little bit. I'm gonna have to hit the road. Well, that little one, she's got schoolwork to do. It's, you know, it's a daddy job. I do really appreciate you guys hanging out with me a little bit. Yeah, the old folks were right. When we were teenagers and all that, them old folks was crazy. They didn't know nothing. Well, now we knew. They knew. Yeah, Aaron, I think so too. And here's kind of my theory. I'm sure you've seen, and if you haven't, go look. You've seen a movie called Mad Max. You know, this the Holocaust, or not Holocaust, but you know, the world's just ate up because of wars and all. That's supposed to be a futuristic movie, and they always fought over oil and gasoline because you couldn't go buy it. So, and to me, if it's all going to be an electrified world, and then finally, if it gets to that point, say 25 years from now, these old girls are still hanging around, we got to make our own gasoline. We got to distill our own gasoline or make them run off of moonshine, corn liquor or something, you know. And I think that's interesting is when it gets to that point, and I may not be alive for that, but who knows, you know. Speed racer, no. I've never had a fear. Maybe a time or two when I wanted to record a little something just real quick. Most of the time, it doesn't make me nervous to be in front of a camera. And I think part of that is I got over my fear of being in front of people a long time ago by playing music. And to me, it's a very similar kind of thing. Here, the worst thing that could happen is I can just shut that off. You get on a stage of a bunch of people and they have an expectation. Nowadays, it's so easy and it's just fun. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a big part of my life to play music, entertain people. So this is only an extension of that same thing. You know, when the first times I get on stage all by myself or go to an open stage where people get together and they take turns playing songs, that sort of thing. And the guy says, first time? Okay, I'm going to have this guy you don't know play with you. He's really good. Oh, God. Yeah. Scared. Had to change my shorts after that. Almost literally. And I drank way too much because I was scared to death, you know. But once you get over something like that, the camera thing, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Speed Racer, you're right, buddy. An old Thin Lizzy, Tin Lizzy. I always like Thin Lizzy. Aaron might be able to tell me this. I always thought Thin Lizzy was an English band. I could be wrong. But I thought they were an English band. Some really good old music there. You know, I'm when it comes to music, I'm into all kinds. You know, all kinds of old music. It's the newer stuff. I have a hard time listening to newer music. I'd rather go to a little pub or a bar and listen to some guy that has never left the state and play me his songs. I think that's the coolest thing there is. To listen to the radio and some of the crap that's on there, you know, I get it. I'm the old guy now going, your music, son, your music, everybody, you know. I always tried not to be, but man, I can't stand to listen to some of that. I can't. And some of that country, that country ain't country. My wife always said, well, it's crap. It's country crap. I said, oh, it's crap. Country rap, crap. No, never mind. You had to be there. Oh, it's an Irish band. Oh, okay. Look at that. There you go. European band. How about that? All right, guys. I sure appreciate you hanging out. We'll do this once in a while. And I'm glad to know, Aaron, that you're about midnight, about 7 o'clock. So the time difference, you know, but really you guys, anytime you got questions, you want to say, hey, hit me up on an email. That's totally cool. You can always comment on anything, say anything you want. I'm not worried about that. But if you want to talk about something and not everybody see it, or you just got a question, you want to say something funny, send me a joke, just hit me on the email, you know, junkboxmike@yahoo.com, you know, hit me up. If you send me links, it might go to my spam, and then you'll have to comment and say, I sent you an email, look for it. It might went to your spam. That's just if you send me links on the, you know, like a video, somebody else's video, something like that. Yeah. Had a good time, and I hope you guys did too. Man, really, I appreciate it. I appreciate the whole thing, all the viewership, all the views you guys are giving me. And some of my videos don't do like I want them to, but you guys are watching. That's what keeps me doing it. Keeps me doing it every time. And I'd hate to feel like I was disappointing somebody. So it gets me back out there, and I want to have these guys know what I'm doing. I want them to see what I'm doing. because they're into it as much as I am, and that's what I want. I want us to do this stuff together. I always say something about, hey, you got your working clothes on. Look, you got dirty, right? I'm trying to include you as best I can because you're the biggest reason I'm doing this. And I'll say it again. That 57 Chevy, that MGA would be not nearly as far done as it is, knowing that I want to make a video once a week of what I'm doing, right? You guys did it. Not nearly as much as me. I was just a handmaiden, you know, but hey, we'll see you guys again. Have a good weekend. Tune in Sunday. Something special, something a little different, something special. I hope you like it. And we're going to talk to you again. Talk to you then. Junk out. Yep. Later, kids.